I thought I would do a Q&A because I can't actually remember the last time I did one. What would you suggest to help others with chronic conditions? Taught me how to not get into those days. How do you cope juggling part-time work and RebelJones? Do you have any regrets since starting your small business? Hi, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Becca and I am the creator and owner of RebelJones, a kawaii stationery shop. And I have been building this freaking business for over 6 years now in the hopes to one day quit my part-time job and do this full time. Now we've had so many new subscribers and followers of this channel, which I am so grateful for, and I actually still can't believe how many of you there are, and especially like where I started. It's just incredible. But I thought I would do a Q&A because I can't actually remember the last time I did one. So we have some questions. I put up a question box on my Instagram, and I also did a post over here on YouTube, and we had some questions on there too. So should we just get straight into it, get into the nitty-gritty and answer all these amazing questions that I've had? Okay, so the first question I had, which was over on Instagram, was what would you suggest to help others with chronic conditions? Now, this is an amazing question to ask because if you are new here or you have just clicked on this and you have no idea who I am and what is going on right now in my life, I have endometriosis and I am currently on the waiting list to have my surgery. And I know so many of us women on here and followers over on my channel who struggle with endometriosis and just other chronic illnesses, and I have had to really adapt and understand what works for me and my body. So for me personally and my endometriosis journey, I can suffer with terrible fatigue, which means that I honestly can't, sometimes I've been in states where I can't get out of bed or off the sofa. Like, I am so tired. Sometimes it's just quite bad and I find it really hard to do stuff in the day and get on with my daily tasks. I also have back and hip problems. I can wake up and I can just brush my teeth and all of a sudden my back is gone, or I can't walk properly because of my hips. And then it comes to loads of other symptoms that I have. But when it comes to my time of the month, when I have my period, that is when it can become really debilitating. And sometimes I can't work. So that has been really difficult for me to adapt to, because I have been in situations where I've been non-stop. Like, since the time I started this business, I was non-stop. I would have terrible burnout situations and days, and it was not good for me. So this has actually taught me how to not get into those days and those horrible holes of burnout again. But to answer your question, I have learned to accept, firstly, that this is who I am right now, this is what my body is like, and I have put in place days that I work and days that I don't. So, for example, I have a part-time job. So I used to work, I would wake up and I would come into the studio and I would work, and then I'd go and then do my shift at Starbucks. And then I'd also then work the days in here that I'm not in Starbucks. I work in here all day, and I'd also work weekends. That has stopped. I do not work if I'm in Starbucks or in my part-time job. I do not do it. I just go and do that job. And I've now taken my weekends off. And this has helped me so much. And my body can't do it. I can't put my body through it. And it flares up my endometriosis so much more. And actually, whilst I'm talking about it, I'm kind of realizing that even though I have endo flare-ups, I don't feel like I have them as frequently anymore. And I think that's because I don't put my body under as much stress anymore. So I'd highly recommend, if you do have a job or you do this full time, make sure you give yourself days that you don't work on your business and just relax, or maybe do some house chores or go for a walk, or just do nothing. Like, give yourself that. And just always remember that things can wait, and if you can't work that day, you can't work that day. Simple as. Another thing that I have been also using if you are someone who struggles with endometriosis is my IMOVIE machine, which is a TENS machine, which actually helps the majority of the time when I do have really bad contraction-like pains where I feel like I could throw up or go to the hospital. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for me, but when I don't have those really severe contraction-like pains, then my IMOVIE helps me massively. So I would highly recommend, if you are someone who struggles with endo, to grab one of those. They are pricey, but I think they do a lot of offers now and then, so I'll link them below. But yeah, I hope that's helped when it comes to chronic illnesses. If you are watching this and you have chronic illness, let me know in the comments what you do to, you know, help you with your day-to-day life or your business. I would also really like to know. Okay, next question is, what are you most proud of within your business so far? This is such a big question. I don't take enough time to remind myself of what I'm proud of. I definitely do a little bit better now and remind myself of those kind of situations. I think one thing that I'm really proud of is that I haven't given up. I set myself a goal when I started this business that if I was still working part-time 3 years in, then I would give it up. And of course, we're 6 years in, I still have my part-time job. I ain't freaking giving it up. Like, everyone is on their own paths when it comes to their business, when it comes to life. And I think you've got to accept your path, and if you are passionate and you love what you do, which is what I do with my business, then you just keep going, and it's okay. It doesn't, like, it's okay if you're, you know, someone that you know has been running their business for less time than you and they've been able to quit their job. I know a few people that I follow that have run their business a lot shorter than me, time-wise, and they've been able to quit their jobs, and that is amazing, like, because that's my dream. But unfortunately, that's not where I am right now, and I'm not there yet, and that's okay. So I've learned to accept that, and I think I'm really proud of that. Maybe if we talk about products, I have 2 products that I am really proud of, and one of them being my bullet journals. So whilst I'm filming this, I have a restock of the Dream Plan Do bullet journals coming, and a brand new stock of the Journey Starts Now bullet journals. These bullet journals are incredible. I have had the most amazing response from them. The fact that I'm ordering another load is amazing, and the fact that people want another colour and another design is also incredible, and I'm so proud of them. I'm also very proud of Nora the plushie. So yes, you can adopt your own Nora. This was just such a off the cuff kind of thing. I drew a pig, a pink one, obviously because pigs are pink, but I drew a pig, people fell in love with her, and I drew her in different designs and outfits, and people were like, we need her in a plushie. And I headed over to Kickstarter, and what have we got now? A freaking Nora that has a Froggo hat you can change her into, a strawberry bucket hat, and a strawberry backpack that actually opens and you can actually stick things in the backpack. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, they're definitely 2 products that I'm really proud of, and I'm proud of a lot of things, but they are my main, like, the main things that I can think of now, the first things that come in my head, what I'm proud of the most. Okay, how do you cope juggling part-time work and RebelJones? I think this kind of goes back to when I spoke about the endo. I used to find it very difficult to cope. I would never give myself time to chill out, to have some space from it. It was constant. So like I said earlier, I give myself the days off if I'm working in Starbucks or my part-time job. I don't work beforehand or after that shift, and then I give myself weekends off, and they are a huge life-saving, like, options for me, because I was burning out so frequently and too frequently. So yeah, they're definitely things that help. I have also included a new way of planning now, which also helps me massively. I use a Notion for my planning and my scheduling kind of things. So I give myself a because I'm never in Starbucks on a Monday. I'm never in my part-time job on a Monday. So I know that I've always got a Monday in here in the studio. So I write Monday as, so I create, sorry, Munbin was thinking that I was, I can't say her name. I can't say her name. Let's try that again. So with Notion, I have a weekly schedule on there. And for the, I don't want to say it because she obviously thinks that I'm talking about her. I know I'm always in here, so I dedicate that day to scheduling my posts, recording my posts, scheduling my emails, my Patreon posts, things like that. So that's what I do on a Monday.
I'm leaving. Call me next time.
That's what I do for that day, and I prep that for, that's for like the whole week. I schedule it for the whole week, and then I write studio day 2, studio day 3, and if I'm lucky, studio day 4. And I plan, I make a plan for each day. So it means that when I come in on my second day in the studio, I know what things I need to do on that day, whether it's pack orders, count stock, make stock, and then another day it can be like product photography, stock count, things like that. And ever since I've been doing that, oh my gosh, things are so much easier. For me, I need to know what I'm doing and it needs to be right in front of me. So that helps massively. And then I also introduced something called the Pomodoro method. So I have ADHD and I struggle massively with structure, and if you know what ADHD is, you will know how difficult it can be, especially when you're running a business and you have all these different ideas and these thoughts, and you can go from here to there, and then all of a sudden you're doing something else, and then it's chaotic. So I've introduced the Pomodoro method into my routine, and oh god, things actually get done. Like, things get done, and I don't feel as stressed when it comes to a launch or a market, and it's just a huge help. So I'll be linking everything below, Notion and also the Pomodoro method, because I use a website where you can change the backgrounds and make it all pretty, and then include like music from Spotify, and it's amazing. So I highly recommend those. But that is what I do to when I'm juggling my part-time job and my business, RebelJones. Just a quick water break because my mouth is drying up from how much I'm talking, so I need a water break. The sun is beaming in, it's beautiful in here today. I'm so sorry, I hope the lighting is okay. Right, next question, shall we? What's your fave design you've ever made? This is a difficult one as well. So definitely design-wise, obviously my bullet journals, I love those designs. But when it comes to really drawing, I have a couple. I have this beautiful Sakura cherry blossom scene that I love. I create mouse pads and mouse mats, whatever you call them. I don't really ever know if that's the right word, but I create those with this design on, and I'm in love. I also remember ages ago, I'll see if I can find it, I did this. It was like a lo-fi street kind of design. And I want to bring more of those kind of things in, like scenery. I love drawing scenes. I love looking at them, like looking at the art and everything. So I'm definitely really proud of those two designs. And I want to bring more stuff like that in. Leanne, if you're watching, what's your favourite design that you've done? And what's your favourite design of mine? Because I would love to know. And next question, what's the biggest tip you can give someone wanting to start a business or has only just started out? Number 1, don't get caught up on everyone else. When you start your business, you have this thought in your head and you can't wait to start it. And I remember being like that. I remember starting my business and I was so proud and I was so excited and I was so happy. And then all of a sudden I started to see other people and their businesses and how they're better than mine and how they're doing better than me. And I started to think, oh, if they're doing that and it's working, then I need to do it. And that was the biggest mistake, guys. No. Just because it works for them doesn't mean it will work for you. You need to make sure you are creating stuff that you love and you're enjoying creating. And of course it's important for everyone else to love it, but you will have the right people, because people will follow you for your art or your business or your products. So just please always stay true to you. And then also, don't be afraid about changing things in the sense of, like, for example, when I started RebelJones, my business colours were black and red, and I did a lot of like zodiac sign stuff, and then I started to draw more people, and then I started to change my colour to pink, then I started to change it to pink and purple, then I stopped drawing people, and then I started to do this. Like, it changes, and I want, like, it's important for you to constantly carry on your art journey, and if your style changes or your interests change, that's okay. And I wish I knew that. I always get a bit nervous about change. Oh, well, I used to get nervous about changing things, whereas now, like, for example, no one really knows this, but Nora, my pig plushie, I like to bring a kind of like little Nora collection out with every seasonal collection. And my summer collection, I didn't do that because I wasn't happy with how I was drawing her, and I want to work on that, so I just left it. I didn't bring that collection out, and I'm going to take the time to work on how I want to draw Nora from now on. I don't want to change her too much, but I also want to bring in other characters later on down the line, and I want to make sure I find my style with that. So it's just, yeah, just be true to yourself. Accept that things will fail and will go wrong, but that is normal. And which I didn't really talk much about just then, but yeah, I'm adding that in there. And also, it's okay if you want to change things up or spice things up, like, it's absolutely fine. We have another question. Where do you find your inspiration? So I love this question. I have got inspiration from everywhere, from Instagram, from Pinterest. Pinterest is a big one. I've got so many different boards. I know that if I'm looking for something, I know I can go over to Pinterest and find so many different kind of styles and like outlooks on different art and all that kind of stuff. I love going there. And then of course I follow the people that I look up to. So Catnip, I've always looked up to Catnip, and her illustrations and her business is incredible. Unicorn Eclipse, huge fan of Unicorn Eclipse. There's loads of people that I follow that I get inspiration from. I definitely want to bring in more of a physical inspiration into my life. By that I mean like going out to some flower gardens or art exhibitions, traveling. I want to get inspiration from different things where I've gone and experienced them. So I am looking to hopefully include some of that next year, because I am going away for my honeymoon next year, and we are starting it off in Japan, which I'm so freaking excited for. And I think I'm going to take my phone, my camera, take loads of photos and just get loads of inspiration, and hopefully come back with some amazing new art, new designs, new ideas. But yeah, usually it's Pinterest and Instagram, which I'd highly recommend using. Try and, you know, if you ever have time, go out and take some photos and get some inspiration from the great out world. That's the wrong saying, the great outdoors. Okay, so they were all the Instagram questions, so thank you so much if you asked me a question over on Instagram. We're now going to head over to the YouTube questions that were commented on a post. First one, do you have any regrets since starting your small business? I don't think I have time for regrets. We don't have time for regrets, guys, but I wish I didn't, like I said earlier, I wish I didn't care about or focus on what works for other people, and I wish I focused on what worked for me. I spent so long, I spent so long focusing on that when it was wasted time. But regrets wise, I don't, because I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't experience what I've experienced. So, really good question, but I don't think I do, and I hope that's okay. Oh, we have a couple here, sorry. What is the most difficult thing you encounter with managing your business? Staying on top of things is hard. The business finance is very, very hard. I have QuickBooks, which I'd highly recommend you getting if you do run a small business or any business. QuickBooks is amazing. However, yeah, I find it difficult, especially where I am right now when it comes to a launch that's just happened and I've got a lot of markets and pop-ups coming and I have to buy all this stuff for it and I don't really have the money, and it's really, really difficult. That's something I really struggle with. The other parts I've kind of nailed when it comes, because of the weekly schedule that I have, my to-do lists, the Notion, the Pomodoro method, all that's really helping me. But I think it's finance that's really difficult for me, and I'm just not in that place yet where my launches like sell out or do like really, really, really well. I made all that money and now I can go and buy all these new things. The summer collection that I've just launched went incredibly well. I had 25 orders. I think I made nearly £400 and it was incredible. However, that £400 included the shipping that I needed to pay for, and that included money that I had to put in to save for my tax, and it also, because I'm working part-time, I don't get loads and loads of money from that, so I do have to give myself money to be able to afford things. So that stuff is hard, but I'm hoping, I look back on how it used to be, and I used to not be able to give myself anything. So the fact that I can do that is incredible, you know? Gotta think of the positives, but that's something I find difficult. Do you ever struggle with creative burnout? Yes, of course. Who frickin' doesn't? If someone tells you they don't, I'm not gonna call them a liar, but they're lying. It's so normal to go through creative burnout. I schedule my design days, which is really nice, little tip. In my weekly schedule, I usually do it on my second studio day. I sit down and I just draw some stuff. I might have a plan to draw something, I might not. But because I'm not doing it every day anymore, I have specific days, that definitely helps. So if you are experiencing that, maybe give that a go. Maybe just give yourself a dedicated couple of days or day of the week where you do it instead of trying to think of something new constantly. And Pinterest is always amazing, but also you kind of just sometimes got to accept that it's not there, you know, and you just need time, and that's okay. Also, highly recommend watching your favorite like films or programs or something. I love Studio Ghibli, and I get so much inspiration from Studio Ghibli, which I should have mentioned earlier, but I do. I get loads of inspiration from Studio Ghibli. So yeah, whenever I put that on, whether it be Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, Ponyo, like I could name them all, whether like as soon as I put them on, I just like, I want to draw and I want to create and I want to design, and it's amazing. So maybe try and see if you have something like that in your life that you can put that on, or you know, whether it's going for a walk somewhere particular, like things like that, maybe that can help. Is social media marketing the most efficient way to extend your reach? That is a hard one. I used to think it was, but I don't really do that well on Instagram anymore. YouTube does really, really well for me. But I have to say, the ways I get more reach and more followers or exposure is doing things in person. So whether that be markets, pop-up shops, like I've got Stationery Fest at the end of June, 29th of June, really, really excited to be there. But I get to meet people in person, and people get to meet me, and they get to see my products in the flesh, hold them, feel them. I know it sounds a bit weird, but it really does help. And I am signing myself up to pop-ups. So I've got a few pop-ups happening in Kenji Arndale and one in Kenji Trafford. And then this year I've also decided to sign a whole month of a RebelJones pop-up up in this new thing called Fosca Philly up by me. So I feel like some of my products do better when people see them in person and see me in person. But of course social media also has a part to play, and I've understood that it's still important for me to show up on there, especially Instagram. I just don't post as much on there anymore. And lives are really important. Going live, because it's people seeing you. Now, just a quick thing about lives, if you're watching this and you're like, I can't do a live, like it's just not for me. I understand, because I've always been quite confident going live, but I know so many of my Patreons and so many people that I follow struggle with going live because it's freaking scary stuff. So I've not long added a brand new reward over on my Patreon, and I'll talk a little bit more about my Patreon at the end of this video, because if you are a small business watching this, I think you'd really benefit from knowing what goes on over there. But one of the rewards is called the Rebels Go Live reward, and every month I put all my small businesses that are part of my Patreon that have applied for this reward in like a random picker thing, and it picks a name at random and we go live together. Because I found in the past that if I suggest to someone, do you want to go live with me first before you do it by yourself, they say yes, and it eases them in, and I've been able to help people with that, which I love because I know how important it is. And I see people that I've done their first live with, and they're just smashing it on their own now, like incredible. So going live is really, really important, and I understand that people can be scared, but there is that reward over on Patreon. I'll leave my Patreon link below and talk a little bit more about it at the end of this video. But yeah, I'd highly recommend doing stuff like that. But I hope I answered your question there. Right, this is the last question, guys, okay? Who is your biggest source of inspiration, or where do you find your inspiration? So obviously we've had this question, but I didn't want to leave any questions out because I'm so grateful that people have taken the time to ask these and help me with this video. But like I said, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube even, and obviously what I mentioned earlier, Studio Ghibli is a huge inspiration for me. But that is where I go, and just following inspiring artists and creators on all the platforms and going places and experiencing things as much as possible, inspiration just comes. And yeah, that is all the places I kind of get them from. So that is the end of our Q&A. I really, really hope you've enjoyed it. I want to just quickly give a shout out to my Patreon, like I said, literally not too long ago. So I started my own Patreon a few years back, and it wasn't what it is today. I wasn't enjoying it. Again, I started it because other people were doing it and I felt like it was the right thing, and I was doing things that they were doing, and it wasn't working for me, but working for them. And when it wasn't working for me, I decided to take a break from it and really think about what I wanted my Patreon to be about and who I wanted my Patreon to be for. And that's when I decided that I wanted a space for my fellow small businesses, because I had a lot of people that follow me on Instagram who are small businesses. I was really, really open about my business on Instagram, which is obviously you can be like that, it's totally up to you, but I wanted my Instagram to be more of like a professional kind of product base kind of Instagram. So I didn't want to lose the amazing people that I have following me. So I dedicated this whole Patreon to helping small businesses. The Rebels Patreon is a safe, supportive, creative, friendly space for all fellow small businesses, whether you're just starting out, whether you haven't started yet but you want to start your own business, whether you've been in it for freaking years and you're feeling lonely and you want that place to go to, then this is the perfect place. And we have a secret Rebels chat over on Instagram, which is one of the most valued rewards over on there. People absolutely love that chat. We have Becc Spies, so every month I pick a winner from my patrons, I buy from their business, and then I do a Rebels reviews video over on Instagram where I open it up and share it. I do social sharing Sundays. Every Sunday I dedicate a whole hour on my Instagram stories to share my small businesses that are part of my patrons. We have the Rebels Go Live, we have monthly discount codes, we have bi-monthly topical calls. So the last one I just did was all about rules and regulations. yeah, there's loads. So if you're watching this and you think, oh my gosh, I'd love to be part of that, we would love to have you. So I will be linking my Patreon link below. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for watching, and just thank you for being, I can't believe how many of you are here. Like, it's incredible, and I'm so grateful. If you are new and you want to check everything out and check more out, I'll be linking everything below. My website, Instagram, Patreon, all of it. So yeah, go and check it out. But thank you so much, guys. I will see you next in a studio vlog. I love you. Thank you for being amazing. Bye.